Hi, everybody. Thanks for being there on Tuesday. And as I said, I'm making a video for you here on Thursday. I'm actually going to make two different videos, and this one is going to be in two parts because this one is going to talk about the assignments that you have for class. So one of the things that we will need to do is look at the different assignments that we have. I thought I had logged in so that I could see what the assignments are, and apparently it's telling me I need to log back in. So hold on here just a moment while I do that. Okay, we are logged back in. And your discussion is going to be on the birth of Christ. It says, consider the birth of Christ as reported in Matthew, gives you chapter and verse, and Luke, it gives you in chapter and verse. And it talks about our observance of Christmas combines these events as if they occurred on the same night. Then it puts a question mark there, but that probably shouldn't really be there. Then it says there are different accounts in terms of what's highlighted in these things. So one of the things I want you to do for this assignment, as you're posting up, I noticed that you haven't posted yet, and that's good actually. Go to these, and one of the things that you'll see, I'm looking here at the book that has the synopsis of the four Gospels. Remember, the first three are the synoptic Gospels that are there. But what it does is it shows us that in Mark and in John, there are no Christmas stories. What we take as the traditional Christmas story, if your church does a Christmas pageant or something like that, really is a combination of Matthew and Luke along the way. So if we look at Luke, we'll look at Luke first. The first chapter has the promise of the birth of John the Baptist. Then it has what's called the Annunciation. That's the angel Gabriel coming to Mary and saying, you will have a child who will be born and he will be the Messiah and all of that. That does not happen in Matthew. That doesn't happen actually in any of the other Gospels. Then we have Mary being visited by Elizabeth, who has just promised John the Baptist as her son. That does not happen anywhere other than Luke either. Then we have a story of the birth of John the Baptist in Luke. That happens before the birth of Jesus in Luke. And then in Luke, it's not until we get to chapter 2, and your assignment will talk about that, it starts in chapter 2, that we see the birth of Jesus. And it says, essentially, in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that the entire world should be enrolled. In other words, a census. And almost every Christmas pageant starts with this. This actually does not correspond to what is being told in Matthew. In Matthew, we already have Joseph and Mary on their way going to Bethlehem along the way. Because in Matthew, which happens in chapter 1, as it says here, Joseph, before they had come together, found Mary to be with child by the Holy Spirit, and he didn't wish to shame her, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered this, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. This is one of the significant points. Notice this. Every time an angel talks to Joseph or Mary or anyone else in Matthew, it always happens in a dream. In Luke, we're not told anything about the dream. The angel just comes and says, behold, you shall have a child. So that is a difference. That is one of the differences. And that's one of the things you want to pay attention to when you're looking at these different kinds of things. So when we have the story in Matthew, what's happening there is they have Jesus being born, and we're told that his name shall be Emmanuel, which means God is with us, which is interesting because his name isn't Emmanuel. His name is Joshua, which is then changed into the Greek word Jesus that we know. Jesus was actually not the name he would have been known by, Joshua. And actually in Hebrew or Aramaic, either one would have been Yeshua. You may have heard that before. So Yeshua is what's happening there. But when we sort of look at this, and forgive me if I'm not looking directly at the camera because I'm looking at what's happening here, we have different people who come to visit. In Matthew, we have wise men who come. And in Luke, we have shepherds who come. That's a difference too. There aren't any shepherds out in the hillside seeing the heavenly host saying, ta-da, there's a child born over there, go look. In Luke, there are no wise men coming following the star. If you sort of see the star over here, see the star up here. That happens in Matthew. That does not happen in Luke. So when we're looking at the story, there are different details that are being highlighted in the different gospels. So that's what you're going to want to pay attention to on this assignment. So one of the things you might do is take a look at what's in Matthew, and then take a look at what's in Luke, and then sort of piece those together. There are some interesting different kinds of things that are in there along the way. And I'll be interested to see what you note when you're looking at those two differences. So that's your discussion board piece. The other piece that you're going to want to do is going to relate to the end of Jesus' life. So we have the beginning in terms of your discussion post. Your final report for Unit 2 has you working on the crucifixion story. So again, in my synopsis book that's here, the synopsis will be now near the end of the book rather than the beginning. So I'll sort of go here to the end. And there are different things that you might notice about this story. One, take a note if you're looking, and it will happen in all four Gospels. It doesn't just happen in one or two. Take a note of the criminals who are crucified with Jesus on the right and the left. What are they saying, and what is being said about them in the different ones? What about Jesus' clothing? What about the crown of thorns? What about what Jesus says from the cross? What about the people who are around? Those are actually different details in the different Gospels along the way. One of the things I will sort of highlight here, the Gospel of John in particular, has Pilate writing out something that says, that's going to be posted over Jesus. It says, Pilate also wrote a title and put it on the cross. It read, Jesus Nazareth, King of the Jews. Many of the Jews read this title, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city. Here's the picture of where it is in Jerusalem, just not too far away, actually, from the center of Jerusalem now. And the chief priests and the elders went to Pilate and said, do not write King of the Jews, but this man said, I am King of the Jews. And that's sort of putting a different spin. We tend to think of spin as something new in media and politics. It's nothing new. This is 2,000 years ago. They're saying, don't say King of the Jews, say he said he was the King of the Jews, kind of thing. And then Pilate answers, what I have written, I have written. It's like, nope, not to do with me. That's just the way it is. So then we have the story of the garments being divided among the soldiers that are there. The interesting thing is on this page here, will it show this page? No, it doesn't want to show this page. Here we go. This is all the detail that I just read. Notice the other three Gospels are blank. That's not included in Matthew, Mark, or Luke. That is included in John. So when we have the story of Jesus' crucifixion, the details are different in the different Gospels. That's one of the reasons why we have all four Gospels. That's one of the reasons why it's important and was considered to be important from ancient times to keep the fullness of the text and the fullness of the witness. And witnesses is, the idea of being witnesses is very important. And we have that in your unit report on the crucifixion story. We have that in your discussion board on the Christmas story. They are both talking about what you see and what the witnesses are. You may have seen the television show Law and Order, where they always are looking for people who have witnesses, and they go are witnesses to the crimes, and you go from scene to scene to scene, and people see somewhat different things. That doesn't mean anyone's actually lying. I had, when I was in seminary, a detective from the Indianapolis Police Department as part of the student body. And I asked once when we were talking about this, I said, if you come up to a crime scene or an accident scene and everyone tells you exactly the same story, are they telling the truth? And he said, oh, no, no way. What they've done is they've gotten together and they've squared their story, and now they're sticking to a story. If they're exactly the same in all their details, they're probably lying somewhere along the way. They're either lying directly or they're leaving something out. But different witnesses will see different things. And just because it's different doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. If I'm watching someone who, and let's say I'm watching an accident and the car is going this way. And as I look at it, and I say to the officer who comes and takes my report, well, the car was going this way. The car was going to the right. And then he interviews someone else and says, oh, the car was going to the left. Well, you read those two reports and it sounds like it's contradictory. But if that other witness was on the other side of the street, what's right to me is left to that person. And they're both the same. So think about that when you're writing your report. And I'm going to post up another video here on our lecture material.